are watching NTA, Nigerian Television Authority. For more information and news updates, visit our website at www.nta.ng, or you can follow us on Twitter at NTA News Now, or you can like us on Facebook at NTA Network News. Stay connected on our YouTube channel at www.youtube.com/NTA News Online. Watch our live stream at www.nta.ng/live. NTA, you can't beat the rich.
Boko Haram. Today, all occupied territories have been recovered and Boko Haram has been degraded. Our affected brothers and sisters are getting their lives back. However, they are now after you and me. In our mosques, churches, schools, motor parks, markets, entertainment centers, and public gatherings.
NTA International News.
Vice President Osinbajo plays host to Australian Foreign Affairs Assistant Secretary, states present administration's resolve for Nigerians to benefit from the nation's resources. Federal Road Safety Corps expresses commitment to improving the efficiency of its personnel for increased productivity and total security. Former President Obasanjo says Festac 77 remains a watershed in the history of black and African people worldwide. Hello, welcome to NTA International News. I'm Nancy Godi Angonihu. President Muhammadu Buhari has approved the appointment of Ibrahim Botu Idris as the Acting Inspector General of Police. He succeeds Mr. Solomon Arase, who retired this Tuesday after 35 years in service. Until his appointment, Mr. Ibrahim Idris from Niger State was the AIG in charge of operations at the force headquarters. State House correspondent Adamu Sambo reports that President Muhammadu Buhari met behind closed doors with both the outgoing and incoming Inspectors General of Police, after which they spoke to newsmen.
Obviously, under our collective leadership, the Nigerian police force is going to be governed by internationally recognized core values of policing everywhere in the world. That is the issue of integrity and accountability, issue of respect for diversity, issue of compassion, issues of ensuring that our streets, our neighborhoods, our communities remain safe. And we are going to do everything possible to ensure that we provide the best service for this country.
It's going to be in acting capacity until the police council they meet to confirm him. I want to seize this opportunity to thank Nigerians for the cooperation that you have given to me while I served as the Inspector General of Police. By extension, I want to also appeal to you to give the same support that you gave to me to my successor. He's a younger man. So I'm sure that he will be abreast with the contemporary policing issues.
The newly elected Secretary General of OPEC, Dr. Mohammed Barkindo, has thrown his weight behind the ongoing reforms in Nigeria's oil, gas and power sectors, describing the government's action as critical to the nation's economic growth and development. He stated this while speaking with newsmen after paying a thank-you visit to President Muhammadu Buhari. State House correspondent Adamu Sambo reports. We'll bring you details of that report in our subsequent bulletins. Vice President Oyemi Osinbajo says the present administration will ensure that Nigerians benefit from the resources of the nation. He said this while receiving the Australian Foreign Affairs Assistant Secretary, African Branch, Mr. Matthew Nehmos, in his office in Abuja. Professor Osinbajo while noting the strides and the presidency is making in the areas of security, governance and anti-corruption and the economy, advised investors to take advantage of the conducive environment being created by the government and do business in the country. Mr. Nehwas, who was accompanied by the country's High Commissioner to Nigeria, Mr. Paul Lehman, congratulated the Buhari administration, observing that the presidency is off to a good start. He also praised the steps that have been taken so far by the administration, some of which, he said, have not been easy, adding that Australia looks forward to doing more business with the government and working very closely with Nigerians. Vice President Yemi Osinbajo has assured Nigerians that the country will beat recession once government starts spending on infrastructure, and with the liberation of the foreign exchange market, the economy will be put back on track. He gave the assurance when the Capital Market Master Plan Implementation Council paid him a courtesy visit. State House correspondent Jide Onifade has more.
Given the idea of the need for a capital market master plan for the nation, Vice President Osinbajo said this would rapidly help develop the nation's economy. He agreed with the council that the country would do a lot more to get the people interested in capital market. President of the council and the Director General, both of whom spoke to State House correspondents after the meeting, said the present realities of the economy are pointers to the need for the country and the people to always save for the rainy day.
Imperative that as we try to deal with the current economic problems and try to diversify the economy, we must mobilize savings in the quantum.
The Federal Road Safety Corps, FRSC, says it remains committed to its policy of improving the efficiency of its personnel for increased productivity, as well as ensuring total security and quality service delivery. Corps Marshal Boboye Oyeyemi gave this indication while declaring open a 3-day capacity building conference at the FRSC Academy, Udi, in Enugu State, southeast Nigeria. Salihu Abdullahi has the report.
This capacity development program for intelligence officers of the FRSC is in portions of its management policy at achieving national security through diligent intelligent gathering. The Corps Marshal charged intelligent operatives of the Corps to rise up to the task of ensuring the security of the FRSC and of the nation through diligent processing, sharing and application of its operations.
Through training and retraining of the personnel, to prepare them adequately for the tasks they carry out in our determination to serve the nation more diligently.
Other speakers urged participants to remain vigilant on national security challenges and make good use of the conference. The 3-day capacity development program organized for middle-level officers drawn from the FRSC 12 Zonal Command Headquarters has as a theme repositioning the core intelligence unit for optimal performance. Salihu Abdullahi, NTA News.
Former President Olusegun Obasanjo says FESTAC 77 remains a watershed in the history of Black and African people all over the world. He said this when the Director General, Center for Black and African Arts and Civilization, CBAC, Dr. Ferdinand Anikwe, paid him a courtesy visit in Abuja, the Ogun State capital. Former President Olusegun Obasanjo recalled with nostalgia when, as a military head of state, he hosted the second World Black and African Festival of Arts and Culture, FESTAC, 39 years ago in Lagos.
Nigerian exhibition as part of our contribution to the second World Black Festival of Arts and Culture, which is currently going on in our country. The different colors, regalia, and apparel simply represent the various divisions of the emirate, as well as the numerous political functions of each unit.
The CBAC Director General said the visit to the former president is ahead of the 40th anniversary of FESTAC 77. Participants of Course 22 at the National Institute for Policy and Strategic Studies, NIPS Kuru, Jos Plateau State, have been urged to apply the knowledge acquired in line with Government Development Plan. The Administrator of Public Service Institute of Nigeria stated this when he played host to the participants in Abuja. Adebola Brookslyn Sunday reports. To accommodate younger civil servants from
experts say manpower development is an essential ingredient needed for national development. Participants of the course are equipped with adequate resources to ensure continuous growth of various sectors of the economy. Their visit to the institute is to acquire more administrative knowledge.
With service, you need to sit down and work extremely in line with government's national agenda. And the government's national agenda in this case is to ensure that you reduce corruption to the barest minimum. This is what we are expecting these course participants to go home with.
It is expected that at the end of the course, the participants will become catalysts to national development.
I have now NIPS in me, I have strategy in me, I have planning in me, I have politics in me, I have policy in me, I have leadership above all in me.
The institute is one of the manpower institutions under the office of the head of the civil service of the Federation. Adebola Brookslyn Sunday, NTA News.
Minister of Solid Minerals Development, Dr. Kayode Fayemi, has re-emphasized government's stand on export steel products as one enterprise which should enjoy unfettered support. Fayemi said this during facility tours of the African Foundries Limited located in Ogijo local government area of Ogun State and Western Metal Products Company Limited at Ibafo on the same state.
You can see that even from the statement by the Governor of Central Bank, that the only thing that has unfettered support is export. If you want to export, just come do your export. And you can bring all your money back without any problem.
He said that all issues that inhibited exports of steel products will be looked into with a view to subjecting them to a review that will be acceptable to government and investors. The need to increase women's participation in peace processes and decision-making in public life and election processes has been emphasized by the Women's Situation Room, Nigeria. This was at a media launch where an overview of the 2015 general elections was presented by the National Coordinator, Joy Oyeso in Abuja. Lydia Bassi reports.
The event was organized as part of activities geared towards women participation in the 2019 electoral process without violence and also addressing socio-cultural norms that reduce women's capacity and well-being in the society.
We like to start early. When we give ourselves 3 years, we will work in all the 36 states across the 6 geopolitical zones because we realize despite a great and mighty ambition and we cannot do it without partners, networks and all that.
Non-violent electoral processes in Nigeria, and most importantly, support for spaces for women to participate in decision-making processes, including seeking political offices.
Civil society groups at the occasion encouraged the initiative that also aims at creating awareness on the rights of women in promoting their participation in maintaining stability of the country. Women's Situation Room mobile apps were also launched.
It's a revolution. Women will tell you that why they are not able to participate in elections because they don't have money. No, this is a solution.
Women's Situation Room Nigeria is working towards increasing women's participation in decision-making and especially more women representation in the 2019 general elections. In Abuja, Lydia Bassi, NTA News.
Now that the video report is ready on the Buhari's meeting with OPEC scribe, let's reintroduce it. The newly elected Secretary General of OPEC, Dr. Mohamed Barkindo, has thrown his weight behind the ongoing reforms in Nigeria's oil, gas and power sectors, describing the government's action as critical to the nation's economic growth and development. He stated this while speaking with newsmen after paying a thank-you visit to President Muhammadu Buhari. State House correspondent Adamu Sambo reports.
Dr. Muhammad Barkindo from Adamawa State, who acknowledged the enormous challenges facing the oil industry globally, was emphatic that there is no alternative to the steps taken so far by the Buhari administration in reforming the oil and gas as well as power sectors.
I think we have taken the right steps here, and what we need is just to continue and to sustain these reforms so that the entire energy scene will be totally reformed at the end of the day in the best interest of the country.
The incoming scribe of the Organization of Petroleum Exporting Countries enumerated issues relating to the prices of not only the crude oil, products and other derivatives, but also the cost of production as some of the structural changes sweeping across the energy scene at the moment.
Every member country in OPEC today has a variety of challenges, both within the industry and the economy at large. And this time around, I think it's my responsibility and the responsibility of all ministers to revisit the issue of unity so that we would be able to take swift decisions so that together OPEC will be able to overcome these challenges and emerge even stronger.
Dr. Barkindo, who met President Muhammadu Buhari alongside the Minister of State for Petroleum, Dr. Ibe Kachku, behind closed doors to formally thank him for the confidence reposed in him, said his election was to a large extent attributable to the tremendous amount of respect and goodwill the Nigerian leader enjoys internationally.
They took into cognizance the integrity and the status of Mr. President, that anybody Mr. President will put his stamp of authority and endorsement should be considered and should be given a chance.
6 other candidates stepped down for Dr. Muhammad Barkindo to emerge as a new scribe of OPEC, described as a leading light in the global energy scene. From the State House, Adamu Sambo, NTA News.
This is news on NTA International. More reports after the break.
NTA International. This is where the news begins. Every breaking news and developments on the African continent.
Welcome to NTA International News.
State House correspondent Hamza Musa.
In-depth news analysis and professional perspectives on all sides of the story.
Experts say the issue of security,
national energies and resources must be mobilized to promote democracy.
Every day on NTA International, we take you inside Africa and the world.
NTA International News. Africa as it is.
Thank you for being there. It's time for business news by Olayinka Ojo.
Welcome to the business segment. With Nigeria's population fast approaching about 180 million and housing deficit is hovering around 17 to 20 million, an entrepreneur, Patrick Ojo, has commended federal government's initiative to provide affordable house for its citizens. Mr. Ojo noted that the policy, if implemented, will enhance productivity and development.
Talked about making funds available through the Federal Mortgage Bank. Acquisition of land will be made easier. And the civil servants and those that are really concerned are being empowered. Salaries going to be paid regularly so that they can go through their mortgage arrangement.
Greece got more than 7 billion euros in bailout funds on Tuesday after a review of the country's progress in implementing economic reforms. The head of the Eurozone bailout, who said this in Athens, noted that Greece needs the money to pay off growing state arrears, maturing European Central Bank bonds, and International Monetary Fund loans. Before we go, at closing figures on the floor of the stock market. And that ends the business segment of the news. I am Olayinka Ojo.
States
for managers of the economy to be more efficient in the management of the resources available.
IPSAS has been adopted in Nigeria. However, the transition requires a much more coordinated approach.
But how equipped are these participants to assist the government to make more informed decisions for effective public service delivery?
The participants today are basically the people that are going to implement IFSAS.
We in NTA have already started.
These financial experts are optimistic that the knowledge gathered from this workshop will be put into work as soon as they return to their various offices to ensure an effective implementation of the initiative in line with global best practices. In Abuja, Chukunonso Nwabese, NTA News.
Thank you, Chukunonso. Kenya has a lot to learn from Nigeria, economically, in lawmaking and several other sectors. This was the summation of Lesonat Moses, a member of the Kenyan Parliament, when he led a delegation of Kenyan parliamentarians on a courtesy visit to the acting clerk of the National Assembly, Mohammed Sani Umolori, in Abuja. National Assembly correspondent Grace Oyenubi reports.
The Kenyan parliamentarians were led to the National Assembly by the Director General of National Institute for Legislative Studies, Dr. Ladi Hamalai. They held interactive discussions, especially on areas of parliamentary relations between Kenya and Nigeria. The member of Kenyan Parliament, Lesonat Moses, said Kenya and Nigerian lawmakers had similar experiences and mentioned some differences in legislative practice.
The fact that you have NILs in Nigeria, we are trying to start equivalent of NILs back home in Nairobi, Kenya.
You are a big country, a big economy. We have a lot of things to do together in terms of trade.
They really wish to know some of the finer details of the way we do our things, and in terms of structure, in terms of the management, even in terms of the budgeting, vis-a-vis other arms of government and everything, and to be able to compare favorably with what they do too, and see what, like I said, what they can take from us.
The Kenyan parliamentarians attended the first National Summit on Political Representation and Constituency and Zonal Intervention Services held in Abuja and organized by the House of Representatives and the Nigerian Conference of Speakers. From the National Assembly, Grace Oyenubi, NTA News.
Nigerians in Germany have been urged to take advantage of the federal government's economic diversification drive and invest at home. Nigeria's Minister of Foreign Affairs, Geoffrey Onyama, said this at a meeting with some members of the Nigerian community in Berlin, Germany. Theresa Wabalba reports.
The Nigerian Foreign Affairs Minister explained that the federal government has become more transparent as a result of President Muhammadu Buhari's commitment to the principles of justice. The ongoing economic diversification drive, he said, has opened tremendous investment opportunities in the country. The Foreign Affairs Minister says this is a gold mine for reasonable investors.
We really need to overhaul our economy completely. A country of 180 million people, it's a large market. When you have such a large internal market, it's a major advantage.
The Nigerian community suggested ways of sensitizing investors on the true picture of what is happening in Nigeria.
Government should go around Nigeria, talk to Nigerians in a town hall setting, tell them that we need to put hands together and build this country back.
We hope that the Nigerian government will take advantage of Germany, which is a superpower in energy production, to see exactly how the Nigerian diaspora could fit into this bilateral relationship and help to promote trade and investment in Nigeria.
We appreciate the effort the present government is taking to reshape the economy and reshape things back home.
The Foreign Affairs Minister also took time to visit a Nigerian-owned ICT training school in Berlin. From Berlin, I am Theresa Wabalba, NTA News.
Chairman Senate Committee on Sports Solomon Ogba canvasses for proper facilities for athletes as Golden Eaglets coaches screen more players. Fisayo Fuyi has details on our sports update.
The technical crew of the Golden Eaglets of Nigeria continued the screening exercise for potential team makers at the Goal Project Packet B section of the Abuja National Stadium Tuesday with a handful of players eyeing final selection spots. Golden Eagles coach Manu Garber says efforts to select the best to represent the country will not be compromised.
We'll do all we can to make sure we put this ball into shape so that we can win the first game. As the tournament progresses, the team can always get better.
It has been a breakthrough year for Birmingham City winger Viv Solomon Otabo. The United Kingdom-based Benin-born star was named City's best young player of the 2015-2016 season after 25 appearances in the English Championship. Otabo joined the Nigerian under-23 team on Monday to start preparation for the 2016 Rio Olympic Games, says he plans to take the next big step in his career by playing football at the international stage. African athletes have applauded the African Union over its efforts to boost the profile of the All-Africa Games. The reaction came after the African Union Conference on Sports, Culture and Youth Development took place in Addis Ababa last week. Nigeria's Minister of Youth and Sports, Solomon Dalung, used the event to announce Nigeria's intention to host the 2023 All-Africa Games, which the nation last hosted in 2003. With sports update, Fisa Ogunfuyi, NTA News.
Time now for a look at Wednesday's weather prospects for Nigeria and some world cities. And the weather report wraps up the bulletin. We thank you for watching.
A giant of literature, a musical icon. My roots lie in the dusty Sahel of the north, in the rich rainforests of the east, in the savanna plains of the west, and in the oil-filled swamps of the delta. My strength flows from the waters of the Niger and the Benue. Nigeria is my home. I am the voice of 200 tribes speaking more than 200 languages. I am the laughter of the world's happiest people. I am my brother's keeper. I am a child in one of the youngest nations on earth. I am the passion. I am the soul of a continent. I am a Nigerian.
Have you been thinking about coming to Nigeria? Then what are you waiting for? Come share in our wealth of vast resources. Come discover treasure. Come to where there's lots of business opportunities. Come to Nigeria. Nigeria, my nation, my pride.
Weekend deal, 6:30 a.m. to 9 a.m. every Saturday and Sunday. Africa's biggest deal.
NTA, you can't beat the rich.
Imagination, innovation, inventiveness, individuality, reality, and all of that is what we know as creativity. Yes, putting your imagination into reality is defined as creativity. You wonder what I'm using this for today? You all know that I'm not a photographer, but don't worry, you see the use much later on.